Patriots wound down the preseason last night, and the star of the show last night in the game against the Giants was obviously Demaryius Thomas. And this sort of put the cherry on top in terms of what I was thinking for the pass catchers. Everything that the Patriots could have hoped for the most part, worked out. For the most part. I understand their first round pick had some injury issues, but for the most part, he looked capable. Josh Gordon returned. We know what he can do. And then last night, you had Demaryius Thomas come back into action. Now, obviously, it was the fourth preseason game, but physically, forget about who he was going up against. Physically, he looked good. And then he said after the game he feels better than he did before the injury. So he looked good. And he's got enough NFL tape out there where we know what he's capable of on the field. And then on top of that, you had a guy like Jacoby Myers emerge, and he showed promise. He could maybe work his way one day into being a contributor on the team. It is the best case scenario for the New England Patriots in terms of their wide receivers and pass catchers. I guess the only thing you could have said what would have been better is if a tight end really came out of nowhere and emerged. But last night when I see 6'4" Josh Gordon opposite 6'5" Demaryius Thomas, I get encouraged by that size. And obviously Rob Gronkowski's don't grow on trees, so I didn't even really consider the fact or want to go down the road of, hey, maybe we can find a tight end that can sort of replicate what Gronk did. So this was the best case scenario for me. Going into this season, the defense looks better than they did last year. We'll see about the loss of Brian Flores, but based on everything we saw this preseason, personnel-wise and scheme-wise, they look just as good, if not better. And then last night you had a guy like Keon Crossan making plays all over the field. It's the preseason. Historically, the Patriots don't do as well at the end of the year when they start the season like gangbusters, and I don't think they're going to thrive early on in the year. Mainly because Tom Brady hasn't played at all. He played a couple of snaps in the third preseason game, didn't even look great. I think it's going to take some time for the offense to click, but I think the ceiling for this team is higher than last year, and maybe this year they'll blow somebody out in the Super Bowl.
Well, as you know, I'm not on snap face and all that, so I don't really get those.